I think that one of the great things about Star Wars Episode 9 is how both Rey, Finn, and Poe will be working together as a team, an element in the Star Wars sequel trilogy that has been missing for so very long. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, if we actually examine the sequel trilogy, we do know that J.J. Abrams and crew, Disney and Lucasfilm, are looking at Episode 9 as a course correction technique ever since the soloist Star Wars story box office results. And not just that, story-wise too, they are really trying to make this movie stand out from the actual past two movies such as The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. Do I think that they could pull it off? Absolutely, if they work hard enough and they really know exactly how to write a story and how to direct it very well. I think that this movie could very well be the Revenge of the Sith of the sequel trilogy, if you will. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. Now, one of which has all to do with descriptions that are based within the second and the first act of the film. Specifically, descriptions of both Rey, Finn, and Poe Dameron on board of the Millennium Falcon with Chewbacca and Lando Calrissian in the pilot and co-pilot seats. The Falcon is heading toward a large Resistance cruiser with a bulk of armor on the front of it that may be the Sledgehammer superweapon. The next goes over a rear shot of Leia looking at a window, watching the Falcon approaching her ship, eventually leading to a reunion between Leia and Lando Calrissian face to face on the bridge of the ship. It is, however, unclear how this will be performed through the use of old footage of Leia from The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. Additional descriptions of Rey on an adventure with R2-D2 on a desert world inside of a cave full of stalactites. The stalactites glow in a bluish-whitish color that illuminate a cave full of statues that are described to be very Jedi-like. The next consists of descriptions of Kylo and his Knights of Ren boarding a large shuttle and eventually landing on a foresty world, similar to that of Endor in Episode 6. This may be the plan of Batuu. Kylo is leading his knights into a base that belongs to the Resistance of an abandoned base to the Rebellion. Another sequence goes over Rey chasing a group of speeders while on her own, actually with an ignited lightsaber taking them out one by one. Lastly, Rey actually piloting a new small ship of some kind. Only the interior is described as Rey in a cockpit, similar to an X-Wing in one of the space battle sequences. So I really want to go over a couple of parts about this, certain plot elements based within the first and second acts of this film. And I think that the one that really does stand out the most, to me at least, has all to do with the Leia and Lando Calrissian reunion scene. Now, I don't know how they're going to pull this off. We do know that J.J. Abrams and crew are using old footage of Leia from The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. Now, a majority of the old footage is going to come from The Force Awakens because, well, they actually had a lot more footage for the character in that film that wasn't used in comparison to The Last Jedi. So, with that being said, what's really intriguing to me is exactly how are they going to do this. I think that this is where the new technology applies that we have been hearing about for so very long, is that they will be able to cut Leia out of the older scenes from the past two films and insert herself into new sequences in Episode 9. So what they could very well do here is Billy D. Williams will be sitting by himself on set in front of nobody, and then they're going to place Leia actually sitting or standing in front of Lando Calrissian. Now, how are they going to have these two, kind of having a deep conversation or kind of just talking to each other or passing some dialogue through? How are they going to do that? Well, they could most definitely perform this by, of course, getting a person that sounds like Leia very well, like very much like Carrie Fisher. If they can get somebody that can pull off the voice of Carrie Fisher pretty much on point, I think that's when they could do it, where they actually do a lot of rear shots of Leia actually facing Lando. That's how they could pull that off. The other thing that I do want to go over is both Rey, Finn, and Poe on board of the Millennium Falcon. So these three characters are going to have a great moment in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon with, of course, Lando Calrissian and Chewbacca. So both Poe, Finn, and Rey are going to have scenes with the legendary character Lando Calrissian, one of my favorite characters in the Star Wars franchise. I gotta say, I mean, Billy D. Williams is just such a great guy. I'm so glad that he's back for Episode 9. That's one thing at least to look forward to. Now, the other thing that really does catch my eye is the description of a cave sequence between both Rey and R2-D2, where they go inside of this cave, where they have all of these stalactites that are glowing in a bluish whitish hue. If you guys have no idea what stalactites are, they are basically the little formations that drop inside of a cave. They look like icicles, kind of. That's what stalactites are inside of a cave. So these stalactites are glowing and illuminating the entire cave, showing us statues of what appear to be formations of older Jedi, or ancient Jedi, if you will. So what planet is this? Is this Jakku? Is this Jeddah? It could very well be Jeddah. Jeddah was a very, Jedi lore heavy planet. And yes, I know, a good portion of the planet was destroyed by the Death Star in Rogue One. But that's not to say that underneath the surface, there's a lot of Jedi lore still stored there. And we do know that they shot over in Wadi Rum, specifically, Jordan, which was an original location for the planet of Jakku that they were going to shoot for. However, this is where things get interesting, is that they actually shot over in Jordan for Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, for the Jeddah sequence. So we could very well be going back to Jeddah in Episode 9. Now, the other one that I do want to go over is how Kylo is leading his knights into a base that seems to belong to either the Resistance or an abandoned base that once belonged to the Rebellion. So we've heard about this invasion sequence before in the past, about Kylo and his knights invading a certain base that holds a lot of value. Now, we do know that the Resistance are trying to get the word out across the entire galaxy to fight against the First Order and to take down Supreme Leader Ren. Now, the other thing that does actually kind of strike my interest here is Rey getting her own ship in Episode 9. Now, this is the first time that I really have heard about this, but her getting her own ship in Star Wars Episode 9, her own starfighter, where it only describes what the cockpit kind of looks like. It's somewhat similar to that of an X-Wing, where, you kind of have like that nice dynamic shaped cockpit in the window and all that. I love the design. So Rey getting her own ship, does it make sense? Technically, yes, it does. She is a pilot. She knows how to pilot these things. After all, she hopped in the Millennium Falcon in The Force Awakens and was able to fly this thing and pretty much perform these amazing maneuvers with little to no effort at all. So if she can fly the Falcon, she can most certainly fly a starfighter. And it seems as so that she will be getting a brand new ship in this film, as well as Kylo Ren. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.